Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for tuning in for the third of 4 parts that comprise my top 100 cards countdown here, reviewing the top 100 cards that I showed on YouTube and have in my collection across the first 800 episodes of this channel, ending on December 31st of last year. And we've already covered cards 51 through 100 in the first 2 installments. I'll try to leave links to those below if I remember. And today we are going to cover cards 50 through 26, so cracking into the top half of the countdown. We're going to get right into it, and card number 50 is going to be a familiar face as this project goes. The great Hank Aaron. I have his 1957 Topps issue here. Love this card. This, of course, is the reverse negative, famous card for that reason, but I love it because it represents Hank's best season of all time. He won his lone MVP award in the year 1957 alongside Mickey Mantle, whose 57 card we saw earlier in the countdown. He won the World Series that year, led the league in total bases, I think runs, home runs, RBI, just monster season. A guy whose career was all about consistency and longevity, but I would say 1957 was sort of the brightest individual season that he achieved. So I love that card for this reason, or this card for that reason, I should say. Big fan of cards that represent significant years, and that's one of my favorite Hank Aaron cards just because of that. Really, really pleased to have that Hank Aaron and Mickey Mantle combo on 57 Topps. So a worthy number 50 there. In at number 49, this one might surprise some people. It's a card, a big card or iconic card from the 1980s. Not a high value card, but one that I just adore. The 1987 Topps Tiffany, in this case, Bo Jackson Future Stars card. This guy, prior to Ken Griffey Jr., late 80s, this guy was the king of the sports world, of course, playing professional football and professional baseball at the same time, something I don't think we'll ever see again, most likely, in the era of specialization that we're in. I think Jackson and Deion Sanders were probably 2 of the last. And of course, injuries and other things kept Bo from having a Hall of Fame career in the end, but he was just an amazing, dynamic player. And more importantly, this card just is one of the most important 1980s baseball cards in my mind. It's very affordable. Obviously, 1987 Topps, they printed a ton of, even in Tiffany format like this, and graded. It's not an expensive card. Got this, I want to say, for under $50 within the last couple of years. And I really dig it. I love that Future Stars rainbow design. It takes me right back to collecting as a kid. And so Bo Jackson, maybe an unlikely candidate for the top 50, but his 87 Topps Future Stars makes it in at slot 49. Next up at 48, we have another hockey stick relic. This is the only other one of these on the countdown. I showed a Mario Lemieux on one of the previous installments. But in this case, we have Connor McDavid, the best player on ice in my estimation since his debut, which was a few years back now. He broke into the league in 2015, and he's been just dominating ever since. And I love that this game-used stick relic card has the letter M in it for McDavid. He carries or at the time used a CCM brand stick, and so this is the M from the CCM logo, but it's really just perfect for a McDavid card. So all of that coming together and, being a stick piece of one of the most talented players ever to lace up skates and probably the top player in the NHL right now. We saw his jersey relic earlier in the countdown, and he has a stick card represented here as well. These are numbered to 100, but they're not all created equal. Some of these are just kind of boring. When they cut up a hockey stick, there's going to be pieces of it that are more interesting like this, and others that are less interesting. And this is definitely one of the more interesting stick relics in my collection. So there you go at number 48. Number 47, we are moving back into vintage baseball and a set that we've seen a couple of times already, 1951 Bowman. In this case, we have the Roy Campanella. I just absolutely adore this card. It's my favorite image on any mainstream Campanella card. And I've gained even a greater appreciation for this card in the past few months as I've turned my collecting focus towards the Negro Leagues and bridge players who came over to Major League Baseball from the Negro Leagues. And Campanella is just one of the greats. in the conversation for best catcher of all time. And I mean, this image just screams classic 1950s baseball to me. So happy to have this. It got a grade of 2.5, but it looks great. And I think it's mainly because there's a little print mark here, this little white mark on the wall, which I've joked before, looks like a baseball just hit off the background padding there on the backstop. So I'm going to go with that as my story. But a beautiful card and very worthy number 47 there. And we're going to go back to hockey, kind of flipping back and forth here. This is probably the top goal scorer in the game today. I think McDavid is the best overall player. But for those who don't follow hockey, this guy is the best goal scoring pure sniper in the league, has been for a few years now. Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is his Young Guns rookie card. Not an easy hockey card to get, despite being, a pack-issued base card from 2016. It is short printed, as all Young Guns are. And he's, as far as 21st century hockey players go, this is one of the rookies that I think you would want most. Once again this year, maybe a little time before I air this, because I'm recording all these countdown videos at once. But as I record this video, he already has surpassed the 40 goal plateau this year, and he hasn't even played 50 games yet for the Maple Leafs. So he's currently pacing the NHL again in goals, and is one of the few people, obviously this is a ways out, but he's one of the few active NHL players that I think could give Wayne Gretzky and Alex Ovechkin a run, for their money for career goal totals at the end of their career. So great Austin Matthews card there. That's going to be his only appearance in the countdown, but if you're going to have one Matthews card, that's the one to get. Sticking with hockey, but jumping back to the 1990s now, in slot 45, have the 95-96 Topps Finest Gold Refractor of the man himself, Wayne Gretzky. He played like a quarter of a season with the Blues, the St. Louis Blues, so he has barely any cards that show him with the St. Louis Blues. And I think this is the best one by far. If you've watched this, channel with any frequency, I love Shine and I love Topps Finest. In baseball, they were the original shiny cards in the early 90s. And there was only 3 hockey sets done in the 90s for Finest. This is the middle of the 3. And this is a really tough card. These gold refractors are brutal. Probably a card I should send in for grading at some point. This is a really crisp copy. Still has that peel film on top of it, which I would take off. But yeah, just a gorgeous Gretzky. Not the first one we've seen in the countdown and not the last one we will see, but 90s hockey glory right there. Just a great card. And then we're going to go back to baseball now, and we're going to go back to vintage baseball specifically for slot 44. It's the 1956 Topps Jackie Robinson. And for anyone who is fortunate enough to have one, you'll know there's something about holding like a playing era Jackie Robinson in hand that's kind of mind-blowing to me. I just love this. And for me, a cool personal touch here, I was able to pick up this card by flipping a Xander Bogaerts card of all things. So, I built up a Bogaerts collection over the years, and when he signed with San Diego, I moved a couple of my nicer Bogaerts cards during that initial hype of his signing, and they sold for, really, really good money. And one of the rookie autos that I sold of his fully funded this beautiful, beautiful 1956 Topps Jackie Robinson. So this was an example of doing something that I love to do, which was using my existing collection to better my collection and kind of churning over and improving what I have here. So just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Jackie Robinson there. I feel like almost honored to own that card. It's just a great card. All right. We're going to go stick with vintage, but move back to hockey for the next one. In slot 43, it is Phil Esposito, and he is better remembered as a Boston Bruin. That's where he went on to kind of dominate the NHL from the late 60s through like the mid 70s, won a couple of cups with them. But he started his career with the Blackhawks, and this is his rookie card from 1965 Topps, which is not an easy card to get, especially one that looks like this. It's graded a 5, but as I often do, tried to find an example which is primo centering, and I think I was able to do that here. This is just a gorgeous copy of this card. A sneaky good card. If you've never tried hunting for this, maybe you could pass this by and not really realize how difficult this is to obtain, but A lot of time and effort and patience went into acquiring this copy that I have here. And the Bruins robbed the Blackhawks when they traded for this guy. It's gone down as, one of the worst trades in history from a Blackhawks perspective and one of the best trades in history from a Boston Bruins perspective. So another great hockey rookie card there. We're going to move over and show a really nice baseball rookie card next in slot 42. One of the more iconic cards of the 1950s, the Sandy Koufax rookie from 55 Topps Baseball. So just a nice clean copy here that I picked up a couple of years ago. As pretty much all the vintage that we're going to look at, or the majority of it in this countdown, it's low to mid grade, but I try to find examples that I think have really strong visual appeal for that grade to make them affordable. And affordable is a relative term. I mean, I had to really plan for this card and do some selling and saving to get this done, because it was definitely more expensive than the average trading card that I would pick up within my budget. But I'm happy that I got it done. I think it's a great example. And, he had a stretch there, as everybody knows, in the 1960s, where he was, not only the most dominant pitcher of that era, but maybe in baseball history, or in the conversation anyway. So scoring his rookie feels amazing. And I knew from the outset that one was going to be included in the countdown. We're going to move back to hockey now, and we're on a little bit of a rookie card streak here. So there's not a ton of rookies in this countdown overall, I had mentioned, but we do have a few in a row here. So this is the 80-81 O-Pee-Chee Mark Messier rookie. And we saw a couple of cards from this set in prior versions or the first two installments of this countdown with Wayne Gretzky, his second-year card, and the Ray Bourque rookie. What's unique about Mark Messier, he was only in the O-Pee-Chee release that year. So Topps tends to have a smaller checklist, and O-Pee-Chee and throughout the 80s would have some players that weren't included in the top set, and that is the case for Moose here, Mark Messier. So his O-Pee-Chee is his only true rookie card. This is it. This guy was a beast. Definitely an underrated player in NHL history, if that's possible. I guess I maybe shouldn't use that term, but he's better than you might even remember because he won, championships with multiple franchises. He was the first player to captain multiple franchises to a Stanley Cup. Yes, Gretzky was on his team for the first handful of championships with the Oilers, but he went on to win one in Edmonton after Gretzky left, leading that team, and he won one infamously with the New York Rangers in 1994. So this guy brought home 2 Stanley Cups when he was done playing with Gretzky, whereas Gretzky never captured another after leaving the Oilers. So just a really key, sneaky, tough rookie card here on the hockey front, and it maybe deserves to be even a little bit higher up than this, quite honestly, being in slot 41, but we just have some amazing cards on the way here. All right, down to number 40, and it's going to be an autographed card. I don't have a lot of these on the checklist, and this is one that I think some folks are going to be surprised that I ranked as high as I did, but I just really dig this auto, and again, it fits with a theme that I have this year of bridge players from the Negro Leagues, but it's Mini Minoso, or Mini Minoso. I know I hear my buddy Hugo pronounce it that way, but just awesome card here. This is from the 1977 Topps set, and it commemorates him appearing in a Major League game in 1976 and becoming the oldest player to hit safely in that game. He would have been, into his 50s, I believe, at that point. I should have looked it up prior to the video, but well into his 50s. And yeah, recorded a hit at that age. A little bit of a gimmick that he appeared in the game, but clearly he had enough skill to reach base and to record a hit. And I find that amazing. And I love that he signed this card in beautiful ballpoint pen autograph. This is one that I picked up over the last couple of years, and it was just a case of an item being so unique and so spot on to what I like to collect that I had to do whatever I could to acquire it. It wasn't expensive. It was way under $100. I want to say closer to maybe 70, but in a way it's like priceless. And I just think it's cool that among all these other big rookie cards, this, random record breaker card is as meaningful or more to me, to the extent that I ranked it above my Sandy Koufax rookie, for example. But just a really cool, unique piece that I'm grateful to have. All right, we're going to move into modern baseball now for the next 2 cards. And in slot number 39, it was a player who's been dominating the game over the last handful of seasons, and I knew I had to get one card of his in on the countdown to be a good representation of my collection, because I have picked up quite a few cards of his over the last couple of years, and that is, of course, Shohei Ohtani. And my choice was relatively easy. While I have a few to pick from, this one stands above all the others in my mind as my favorite, at least at this moment in time, Ohtani card. This is an insert, so I don't think it's strictly a rookie card, but it's a rookie year insert with that RC logo. And it's a throwback to 1998 Bowman's Best from 2018 Bowman's Best. But this is the, as you can obviously see, the atomic refractor. And this is just one of the most gloriously shiny, awesome baseball cards in my collection. And yeah, really happy to have this as Shohei embarks on the next section of his journey here, or his path through the major leagues with the LA Dodgers. So really excited for baseball to get rocking this spring and to see Shohei, who will now be on the same roster as another one of my favorite players, Mookie Betts. So really cool to have those two guys on the same team. And then right in front of that, in slot 38, I have another favorite rookie card of mine. This one from 2014 Topps Update. It's the Red Hot Foil Mookie Betts. And I'm tilting this a little bit just to give you an idea of what that foil effect really looks like. But these were 1 year parallels, only one and done in 2014. And they're all red like this. But obviously with the Red Sox, it makes for a gorgeous team color match on this Betts rookie. I've already talked about him during this countdown. He's a player that I just really believe in. He's a great guy, fun to watch as a fan. He does it all. 5-tool player. He's won an MVP, batting title, World Series in both leagues. And at this point, he's really just kind of accumulating counting stats. He's one of the best WAR, position players of his era, quickly approaching, Mike Trout-like WAR numbers, in addition to all that other success that I mentioned. And obviously a Boston fan favorite as well. So this is probably my favorite Betts rookie card, and was an obvious choice to include on the list, all the way up at number 38. All right, number 37 now, we're going to have a buyback, and it's a throwback, a reference to my favorite set, my first ever love in the hobby of baseball cards, and that's 1990 Topps. The Ken Griffey Jr., of course, infamous card in that set, the Griffey Rookie Cup, and this is a 65th anniversary buyback from 2016 Topps. So this would have been bought back, stamped with this stamp, and included in a pack of 2016 Topps baseball. And I can only imagine pulling this card. I'm just lucky that I found this on the secondary market. I actually have 2 copies of this. This is the little more beat up of the 2, and it resides in my 1990 Topps buyback set in a binder. Just took it out of this sheet here for the video. It's obviously not in mint condition. I mean, check out that upper left corner. Pretty dinged, but an epic card from my youth. The set that got me started in baseball card collecting, and probably the overall most notable or infamous card in the set, right up there with the Frank Thomas rookie card. And so getting the buyback version of this was huge. Obviously, if you've been by the channel, you know that buybacks are kind of a big part of my collection, and one of the ways that I put my sort of individual stamp on my collection and the hobby overall. And this is a highlight buyback for me. So the 90 Ken Griffey Jr. in buyback format is coming in at slot 37. Next up at 36, we're going back to our old friend 51 Bowman. Another card that I'm just ecstatic that I was able to pick up over the last couple of years. I've always wanted a copy, the Monty Irvin rookie card. Just great illustration, as most of these cards have. And obviously a very notable Hall of Fame player, and one of the more infamous bridge players as well to come over from the Negro Leagues in the wake of Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby. And lastly, I just love 51 Bowman. Again, not sure I'll ever get that mantle or maze, but I'm no longer letting that stop me from enjoying all of the other wonderful cards in the set. So could have ranked this one even higher. I actually considered pushing this up the list a little bit. I think 36 might even be a little bit low, but that's where it ended up. And then at 35, we have the final soccer card on the list. So from here on out, I think it's just going to be really baseball and hockey. But we get one more soccer card in with the Kylian Mbappe Topps Chrome UEFA rookie card from 2017. He is my favorite young player in the game. has been since he really dominated the World Cup back in 2018 as a teenager, and he has just continued to make waves everywhere that he plays, both at a club level for Paris Saint-Germain and nationally for the French national team. He's led La Liga, which is the top league in France in goal scoring, literally every single season of his professional career, from like age 18 or 19 all the way through now. He's on like his 6th or 7th consecutive goal title in that league, which is nuts. And his contract is coming up this summer, so he's likely, nobody knows what's going to happen. He could end up staying with PSG, but he may be moving to a new team, and that's exciting to consider. He's going to be a name in soccer that everybody hears about in the news this summer. And even if you don't know soccer, you're going to get to know this name. He is a global phenomenon, and I'm just really happy to have this true rookie card, one of only a handful of rookies that he has from 2017. So not an expensive card. Last I looked, you can get this in a PSA 9 for around $100, maybe even cheaper. And I think that is a screaming buy at that price point. So happy to have that Mbappe. Moving on down now to number 34. We have another relic card, and it's one that I bought on eBay and then submitted myself to SGC last year. Check out this Jolton Joe Sweet Spot relic from 2007 Upper Deck Sweet Spot. Classic. I mean, that jersey piece is insane. That's a Joe DiMaggio game-worn Yankee pinstripe right there. And I'm astounded. I mean, I never was a big relic guy for the first few years that I got back into the hobby. And I always assumed relics of guys of this caliber were probably, well outside of my potential price range. So I was really shocked and astonished at the price that I was able to win this at. And then, of course, sent it into SGC to get it this nice presentation and treatment and protection. I think this set just looks great. And I've since sent a couple others from this release off to be graded by SGC as well. I love these relics that much. So I'm not a big relic guy overall, but Upper Deck in the early to mid 2000s, especially with this Sweet Spot release, they really did some nice game use stuff. All right, number 33. This card, I'm pretty confident a lot of people would rank higher than this, but it's the Roberto Clemente rookie card. I've had this for years, but I only unveiled it recently when I did a Fab 4 challenge for my buddy Adam over at Splendid Sports, showing off my top 4 Roberto Clemente cards. And I did choose this as one of the 4, but it's not my favorite Roberto Clemente. There is one Clemente that's going to be higher up in the countdown that we'll see after this, but obviously this is a monster card. It's, just there's nothing to scoff at here. And it did make the top third of the countdown here in slot 33, which is pretty impressive in its own right. But it's not a card I'm in love with, if I'm being honest. And it's one that down the road, maybe I could see myself selling off. Really depends on whether I try to go after and truly complete the 1955 top set or not. But either way, it certainly belongs somewhere in this list of 100. And in this go-round, it got assigned to slot number 33. So the Roberto Clemente rookie card. Almost getting to the end here. Thanks for your patience. I hope you're enjoying this. Coming in at slot 32, this is one of my favorite sneaky hockey cards. And I bet you you're not or you wouldn't predict that you would see this one at this spot on the list. It's the 1979-80 O-Pee-Chee Gordie Howe. And for those who are not hockey fans or don't know much about the history of the sport, he might be the greatest of all time. It's hard to compare players across eras. Just like in baseball, it's like trying to compare, Ty Cobb to Ken Griffey Jr. The game was just a lot different that many years apart. But Gordie started his NHL career in the mid-40s. 1946 was his first season, his NHL debut, and he still played in the 1979-80 campaign. And not only that, but he was still effective. So he was 51 years old during this season. It was his final NHL season, and he was 51 years old, and he recorded 15 goals and 41 points as a 51-year-old playing at the NHL level. That's crazy to me. And, this being Gordie's last year was also Wayne Gretzky's first year. And I love that those two guys intersected and overlapped by one season. And so between the two of them, I would say the two greatest hockey players of the 20th century, collectively, those two players alone, they played in the NHL from 1946 through 1999. And obviously I'm biased as well, being a Hartford Whalers fan, but I think this is a sneaky good Gordie Howe card. His rookie card is going to cost you many thousands of dollars, even in poor condition, but you can get his last card from his age 51 season and from what I think is the greatest hockey set ever produced, 1979, for like $50 in really nice shape, or probably $10 if you don't care about condition and you get an ungraded copy. So just an awesome, awesome, essential hockey card there, in my opinion, coming in at number 32. At number 31, we have a 2023 Topps baseball card. Pretty crazy to think that a baseball release from this past summer can make it all the way up to 31 on the list. But let me explain. It's the 2023, Topps Chrome Sapphire card featuring the 2022 AL home run leaders. And I mentioned at the outset of this countdown that I'm just a huge fan of the home run chase and the home run records, both the individual season and the career records. And of course, Aaron Judge infamously in 2022 broke the single season American League record previously held by Roger Maris by hitting 62 home runs. This is the card that commemorates that feat. And so I love it, but it's the sapphire version. So it has that great atomic sparkle and it's the gold numbered to 50. So if we look here, we see the number 62 right there on the back, the infamous number 62. I also love that Mike Trout is depicted here as well. So it's at least 1/3 a Mike Trout card. And then there's your serial numbering to 50 in the lower right. So to me, I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to track down one of the 50 copies of this card. Really glad that I did. It wasn't even expensive at all. But I think it's a card that has tremendous future potential. And I love what it represents as far as the history of the game and my collection specifically. So there you go at number 31. And then coming in at number 30, perfect segue into this card, the record that Judge broke, the 1961 record of 61 home runs by Roger Maris. And of course, this card from the 1962 Topps release features the 61 AL home run leaders and features Roger Maris, denoting that infamous 61. It's amazing to me, the struggle that he went through that season and the pressure and the press and everything else that he had to deal with. I'm just fascinated by that whole story. And so this, to me, is an essential baseball card. You can get this in really good shape for not a lot of money. I feel like I'm saying that quite a bit with today's stretch of cards. But as far as, getting bang for your buck and getting a significant card for a small amount of money spent, I'm not sure you can even do much better than this as far as vintage baseball, period. Just a really, really important card. And to me, I think it deserves to be here at slot number 30. Now we're going to break into the 20s here for just a couple more cards before we end it. In slot 29, I have the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, on the 1957 Topps release. Just like the Hank Aaron that you see in the background, really took my time finding a copy of this that I was happy with. Centering is a serious challenge when it comes to 57 Topps in particular. I feel like this is one of the poorest quality control sets as far as centering goes in the history of Topps baseball. And it took me probably 3 to 4 years of looking around on the regular to finally get a copy of a Willie Mays that I like. And it's a 2 of all things. So again, I don't spend too much time overanalyzing my graded cards. I don't entirely know why this got a 2. There's no paper loss here or creases or snow or anything like that. It's a pretty crisp looking copy. The back is clean as well, but yeah, made it affordable. And this was one of my best buys, I think, of last year. Just got this for a real steal based on the assigned grade. 3 more cards here at number 28. This is in 1990. This is the card that defined the hockey card landscape. So the hockey card scene exploded in 1990, just like it did a couple of years prior in baseball. And it went from being a Topps and O-Pee-Chee world to a ton of different vendors making licensed sets. And one of those was Score. And they were the only person to get this guy in their checklist, into their checklist for 1990. Eric Lindros. This guy was the next Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. He was hailed as, the savior to hockey, the guy who was going to continue the trend of GOATs, inherited from the Gordie Howes and the Wayne Gretzkys of the world that we talked about a few cards back. In the end, concussions and other injuries prevented him from having a Wayne Gretzky-like career, but he did still end up with a Hall of Fame career. He's enshrined, as you can see, by this signature here and the inscription, Hall of Fame 2016. But this card was the hottest card in sports, or at least in hockey, in 1990. This card was huge. It was on all the hot lists and Beckett magazines. Everyone wanted a copy. And so a few years back, I found this amazing autographed version, which I think looks just fantastic. Really great, bold on-card auto there. And I love this for the same reason that I love the 89 Griffey. It's a point-in-time snapshot of where our hobby was at over 30 years ago, close to 35 years ago now, which sounds crazy to say. And if you were collecting at the time, you will definitely understand why this unique autograph made my top 30 at number 28. At number 27, this is a guy who's disappointed some in recent years with his track record of injuries, but I still like collecting the man, and I'm really hoping he can put together a few healthy seasons here to accumulate some counting stats as he gets into the back half of his career. And it's Mike Trout, of course. And the card that I chose to represent him in the countdown here at number 28 is his 2012, or sorry, number 27, his 2012 Topps Chrome. This is the blue refractor, numbered to 150. So if you take a look at the back here, I'm sorry, 199. Here's your serial numbering, copy 7 of 199. And to me, this is a huge card because while his rookie card came in 2011, Topps Update, he was not in 2011 Topps Chrome. So this is his first like mainstream chromium card. It's from what's technically his rookie season, 2012, as he didn't play very many games in 2011. And I know the image isn't for everybody, this kind of celebration shot with a couple of his teammates here, Torrey Hunter, and it looks like Mark Trumbo. But I love the image, and I just think above all else, it's a significant card. You know, in this era of the popularity of chromium cards that we are living in and we are collecting in, getting the guy who is kind of the hobby hero for the 2010s and the best player in the game of baseball through the 2010s with 3 MVPs, getting a relatively low, under 200 numbered parallel of his first chromium card is just awesome. And I'm really, really grateful to have this one. So one that you might expect to see a little bit lower on the list, but I stand by having that one at slot 27. And then we close out with the last card for this installment, number 26. It is my oldest baseball card from 1888, the Scraps Tobacco release. This is James Tip O'Neill, Triple Crown winner, I believe in 1887, the year prior to this coming out. And it's really obvious why I would have this one, you know, at number 26. I just never in a million years thought, even as an adult collector, up until a year or two ago, that I would be able to afford or have any items in my collection that are from the late 1800s. And it's still mind-blowing to me. Probably been a year since I picked this card up, and every time I look at it, I still just smile ear to ear. Definitely a favorite of mine, and could have easily made the top 25, but as it stands, fell just outside that at slot 26. And with that, that's going to conclude today's video. I hope you enjoyed the third installment of the countdown. Make sure to check back soon, as I'm going to have that final 25 video up in the next few days. And until then, I appreciate your support, and I hope you're enjoying the hobby. Take care.